Jeopardy! Fans have become torn as to whether or not Ken Jennings would be able to compete with the current super champions. After holding the longest winning streak on Jeopardy! He is currently one of the co-hosts of the show. After 74 consecutive wins on the show, Ken became one of the greatest players of all time. He is the highest winning game show contestant, having won on 5 different game shows. The 48-year-old then went on to write a book about American trivia history and culture, as well as children's books. The former Jeopardy! Champ was also at the center of controversial tweets, which resurfaced in 2020. Following longtime host, Alex Trebek's death in 2020, Ken was one of the many guest hosts on the show. After trying to figure out a suitable replacement, and positive feedback from fans, he stayed on as temporary host. However, it was announced in 2022 that he and mayim Bialik would split hosting duties for season 39. Amy Schneider, Andrew He, and Sam Buttrey competed in the 2022 Tournament of Champions, with Amy being victorious. Now, fans are wondering if him hosting the show would affect his chances of coming back for a Champions Tournament or not. What is yes or no? Fans took to Reddit to comment on if he would still be able to compete against the former champs. You ever think Ken looks at a super champ, like Mateo or Chris, and says, "Yeah, I could still take him?" The person started the thread. "Yes, and he's right," replied one Reddit user. A third wrote, "Ken would win, but he had the perfect send-off. He defeated 2 amazing competitors in front of the late great Alex Trebek. Nothing could be sweeter. Considering he is considered to be the greatest of all time, yes he can," said a Ken fan. However, a skeptic chimed in with, "On some omnibus episode he talked about competing 10 years later and said he feels like he lost the physical and mental speed to compete with younger players." When one fan suggested that he should compete against Tournament of Champion winners, another said he gave up the rights to that once he became host. Other Reddit users said that they hope he thinks that, while others said that he might need a bit of a warm-up. Can he say that? Ken might have to return to the champion spot after all, after a former contestant threatened to take his job. Earlier this month, Andrew E. shocked the host by telling him he is coming for his job. Andrew, a software developer from San Francisco, California, faced Jonathan Fisher, an actor from Coral Gables, Florida, and Christine Welchel, a graduate student from Spring Hill, Tennessee. Ken began hosting the 3-week-long winners tournament featuring 21 trivia titans from the past year, including those who nabbed the last 2 slots via the Second Chance competition. During the Q&A segment, Andrew joked he's eyeing more than just the $250,000 grand prize. The 5-time champ said, "So purely on the basis of my copious game show experience, I had the honor of hosting a little newlywed game at my friend's wedding recently. So I think if I get a couple more gigs, I'm gonna come for you, Ken." The live crowd gasped and laughed nervously as Ken replied, "Is that a good jig? I'll do weddings, I'll do bar mitzvahs, too, I don't care." The host joked back, shaking off the wild promise. The announcement that Ken Jennings would step back into the Jeopardy! Spotlight has sparked a storm of discussion across the fanbase, with opinions sharply divided over whether the show's most famous champion could compete with the current crop of super champs. For longtime viewers, the idea of Jennings returning evokes nostalgia for one of the show's brightest eras, yet newer audiences, accustomed to recent champions' lightning-fast reflexes and encyclopedic knowledge, are raising questions about how well he could hold his own. Ken Jennings' name is practically synonymous with Jeopardy! In 2004, he became a household name after an unprecedented 74-game winning streak, earning over $2 million and a permanent place in the show's history. For many, he represents the pinnacle of trivia mastery, a symbol of the intellectual rigor that has defined the game for decades. His calm demeanor, sharp wit, and ability to recall obscure facts quickly made him a fan favorite and cemented his legacy as perhaps the greatest contestant of all time. Yet the landscape of Jeopardy! Has shifted considerably since Jennings first captivated viewers. Today's champions often combine deep trivia knowledge with the modern strategies of buzzer timing and game theory, honed from years of analysis of past games. Some even employ meticulous preparation methods, such as memorizing popular categories, watching countless episodes, and simulating games to anticipate pacing and question difficulty. This evolution in play style has raised questions about whether even a legend like Jennings could easily dominate against today's top-tier competitors. Some fans argue that Jennings' legendary status automatically makes him a contender. "He's Ken Jennings. He's the reason I started watching Jeopardy!" one fan wrote on a popular online forum. "If anyone can handle today's champs, it's him. He's not just about memory, he understands the strategy, the pacing, the pressure. That's something you can't teach. Supporters point out that Jennings has remained active in trivia circles, hosting quiz shows, writing books, and participating in competitive trivia events, which keeps his skills sharp. Others, however, are skeptical. Times have changed, another fan argued. The current super champs have game down to a science. They know exactly when to buzz, how to pick categories, how to exploit the daily double. Ken was amazing in 2004, but I don't know if that's enough anymore. Critics suggest that while Jennings' knowledge remains vast, the fast-paced environment of modern Jeopardy! Games demands a level of reflexive strategy that might put him at a slight disadvantage compared to champions who have grown up studying the mechanics of the game in the internet age. The debate has even caught the attention of the champions themselves. Some of the current reigning players have commented on social media, expressing both admiration and playful competitiveness. One champion noted, "Ken Jennings is an icon. I respect what he's done, but I hope he's ready for the new era. It's a whole different ball game now." Such statements only add fuel to the fans' divided opinions, as they highlight both the reverence for Jennings' accomplishments and the challenge of facing a generation of players who have been meticulously training for peak performance. Another factor fans consider is the psychological pressure. While Jennings famously thrived under intense scrutiny during his streak, modern champions are accustomed to live streaming, instant social media reactions, and analytical coverage of every game. Some argue that Jennings' calm, almost scholarly approach could give him an advantage in handling pressure, while others contend that the game's evolution towards strategic aggression could pose unique mental challenges. Beyond the competitive aspect, Jennings' potential return also raises questions about the cultural significance of Jeopardy! In today's media landscape, the show has expanded beyond a simple quiz format into a platform where champions become mini-celebrities, their personalities as scrutinized as their knowledge. Jennings' charm, humor, and ability to connect with viewers might make him a fan favorite, regardless of whether he dominates in points. For many, his presence would be a nostalgic bridge to earlier seasons, rekindling memories of classic moments and historic wins. Some commentators suggest that Jennings' potential participation could shift the dynamics of the show itself. Producers might adjust question difficulty, pacing, or category selection to balance the playing field, acknowledging both his fame and his skill. This could generate renewed interest in Jeopardy! Ratings, drawing both longtime fans and curious newcomers eager to see how a legend fares against contemporary super champs. The anticipation alone could spark special tournament episodes, media coverage, and online discussions that echo the excitement of his original streak. Yet, the uncertainty remains a key point of tension. The fan community is divided, with some envisioning Jennings walking away with yet another winning streak, while others predict an early exit that reminds everyone that the game evolves faster than a single champion's memory. Online debates range from detailed statistical analysis of past games to playful hypotheticals, such as whether Jennings would rely more on obscure knowledge or sharpen his buzzer strategy. Memes and fan polls proliferate, highlighting how the conversation around Jeopardy! Has become as much about personality, strategy, and media presence as it is about raw trivia mastery. Ultimately, the conversation about Ken Jennings competing with today's super champs reflects a broader question about legacy, skill, and the evolution of competitive games. Jennings represents the pinnacle of past achievement, a standard-bearer for trivia excellence, and a beloved figure whose return would excite any fan of the show. At the same time, the current champions embody the future, a generation that has combined knowledge, strategy, and modern preparation techniques to dominate in ways that even Jennings' era did not anticipate. For fans, the debate is both nostalgic and forward-looking. It's a conversation about whether raw talent, honed instincts, and calm under pressure can withstand a new wave of analytical, strategy-focused champions, or whether the game itself has evolved past the methods that made Jennings legendary. Regardless of the outcome, the mere prospect of him stepping back into the studio ignites excitement, curiosity, and lively discussion. In the end, perhaps the real appeal is not about who would win but the clash of eras it represents. Ken Jennings' possible return is a reminder of the enduring allure of Jeopardy! Its ability to challenge, inspire, and captivate viewers across generations. Whether he would triumph over today's super champs or face surprising setbacks, his participation would reaffirm the show's timeless fascination, a battle of wits, knowledge, and quick thinking, with millions of viewers eagerly watching every moment. One thing is certain, the conversation itself, the debates, and the speculations about Jennings' potential comeback, illustrate why Jeopardy! Continues to be more than just a quiz show. It is a cultural touchstone, a forum for intellect, nostalgia, and competitive spirit, where legends are remembered, new champions rise, and the audience remains passionately engaged. Can Jennings' return, no matter the result, promises to be a moment of television history that fans will discuss, dissect, and celebrate for years to come.